people, passion, and purpose. And joining me again is the delightful Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm practicing my princess wave. Y'all seen this?
You're
Hey,
doing
in this.
the Queen of England. Well, it's the King now. The Queen Elizabeth II used to wave it like that.
Oh,
You
I
know, I
love it.
never told you this, but I actually, when I was in the military, I actually was in the parade and I paraded in front of her. So I saw
Really
yeah, that was a long time ago when I was young and
nice.
stupid. And now I'm just stupid.
Older
No
and
longer
maybe a
young.
tiny bit. Yeah. So speaking of Queen, we don't have the Queen of England, but we got the Queen of Passion and doing stuff. And my gosh, yeah. Like so, real quick,
We sure
I,
do.
I met her not probably a month ago, and just I tell you what attracted me. Just 100% real, honest, raw authenticity and passion. There's nothing else. Just she's just so fed up with her mission to help people make a difference and just to rock and roll with that. And you know me, that's the that's the pinnacle foundation of the passion behind the hounds and why we do what we do. So one of the most heart-centered people I've ever met. Um, just going out there and doing things, and it's an honor to help push up and get that visibility for her. So I'm really super excited. I encourage everybody to network, follow, comment, and really get the most out of this. It's just it's insanity. So hey, first of all, pleasure being here. Second of all, I cannot wait for this conversation because you're shining light, Isabel, on really good people with
Yes, I
really
am.
impactful, life changing stuff. So, without further ado, unless you got something to add, I'm gonna get up out of here. Let you
Hey,
two
I
rock
love
and roll.
inviting you. It makes my life so easy. I just sit here and I look kind of pretty.
All right. Well, I'll send the
And I
invoice one
laugh.
day. Then you'll,
Let's roll
I'm a
that
cheap date.
intro. Let's go,
Let's do it. Let's
guys.
roll this thing.
Let's
Let's see if I
do
mess
it.
this up.
Business is no longer only about products and services. More than ever, it's about connection and community. Business is about people. And that's why I created these live events. Every week, join me in discovering one remarkable individual. No shop talk here. It's about who they are and not what they do. My name is Isabel Fortin, and welcome to People, Passion, and Purpose. Guys, I know every single week I say this, and every single week I meet it because I invite people I actually love on my show. That's what the show is all about. This is not about my business. This is about fun. It's about connecting with new people. It's about showing off these new people to the world. And I met this woman on a live stream. I was actually the co-host of Mike Hounds of Business show on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Eastern. Shameless plug, 7 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. You should check it out. And she was the guest, and I was co-hosting, and I had never heard of her. I had never spoken to her. And she blew my mind. If you go watch the episode she was on, that's the episode I don't say anything because, she was just so interesting and I didn't have to do anything but sit there and ask semi-intelligent questions. So, guys, without further ado, welcome my beloved Jackie. Or you're doing the wave too, are you?
It's kind of a thing today, right?
Yes, yeah, is the theme. How you doing?
Hello. That was such a cool intro. I'm like, is she really talking to me or is somebody else coming on stage?
No, I was talking about you. I do one person at a time, except for, the crocodile there in the background. The Crocodile Dundee. Oh, there you go. That's his new nickname with me. Crocodile Dundee with the camel hat there, just running in the back end. Other than that, it's just you and I, and it's all about you. All about it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Right back at you, sister. So you watched the show before. I've said this to you also before in the pre-show. Only 3 questions, and whatever sub questions comes up. And at the end, if you choose, you get to ask me whatever you want. There's no holds bar. I will answer everything.
I
So,
love that.
thank you. I'm afraid now. Ah. So, first question, always the same one. Dead or alive, one person, ideally that you knew when they were alive or that you still know now, who has been the most influential person on you and why?
Oh, I mean, Mike might want to pay me to try to say him, but sorry, Mike. It's my dad. It is my dad. He passed it's about 9.5 years ago, but he was my hero from day one. Before I was alive, he was in Vietnam. He served actually 7 tours of duty in Vietnam. He was in the Navy.
Goodness.
4 were on ship, 3 were on land. He never expected to live through the first one. And he came home with severe PTSD. And back then, when I was a kid, I didn't know what PTSD meant. I just knew we couldn't go by dad's bed where he was sleeping and wake him up. We had to holler from the door if he had to wake up when we were still up or something like that. He was the coolest man ever because he was so physically and mentally strong, but yet he was so physically and mentally hurt at the exact same time. He was the type of guy that would give literally the shirt off his back to anybody, even if they didn't need it, but they just asked for it. He was the type of person that even if he could hardly walk that day, because he actually ended up having physical issues through a job when I was in first grade, and he became permanently disabled. So he couldn't sometimes even hardly walk. But if somebody said, "Hey, Jack, you need something." Oh, by the way, I'm named after him. His name was Jack. I'm Jackie. They thought I was going to be a boy, so here I am. They weren't very creative. So
you were supposed to be Junior.
I was. Yep. So here I am.
That's
so
fine.
I try to carry on some of what he taught me growing up. What I did see, though, is sometimes a lot of people took advantage of his niceness and his caring heart. So I have tried to guard mine a little bit more than I think he really did. I think not only do I still want to care about others and help everybody's, I want to do more where I can empower them to not maybe need other people as much and realize that they have that stuff inside them that is amazing. And my dad, I think, felt like he had to take care of everybody. He was the oldest of 6 boys. He had a very hard upbringing. Someday I'm going to write a book about him because there's so much more to share about, but he is by far the person that has impacted me the most. I've had great friends and family surrounding me, but he was the one, Izzy, that could always tell if I was having a bad day. He would reach out to me. Sometimes it ticked me off when he did that because I tried to keep this front, like, I don't want to stress him out. He's got enough going on. I can handle my own business, but he's just like, "Jackie, something's going on. You need to take care of yourself. Just breathe." That was always what he would tell me. So now I have that tattooed on my arm. So in memory of him,
what is it?
It says "Just breathe."
Oh,
it's kind of hard to see with this weird camera.
Yeah. My I have a tattoo there too. It's always crooked.
Yeah, it's like, which way's upside down on this camera?
Yeah.
So that is my dad. He is, if anybody brings him up, they're always just like, "Oh, Jack would do anything for anybody." And his one thing he would always say when people would say, "Hey, how you doing, Jack?" Because, people just say that in general and they really don't want to hear the answer most of the time. And of course, my dad was in pain 24 hours a day. So his answer would always be, they'd say, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?" His answer would be, "Better than a sharp stick in the eye." And I used to be like, "Really, Dad? That's all you can come up with?" And now I'm like, that makes real good sense because he was in freaking a lot of pain. So the only thing probably worse is if he would have been poked in the eye at that exact moment.
What are the best qualities in him that you recognize in yourself?
Oh.
Yeah, I ask a lot of good questions. I don't want to toot my own horn.
I think wanting other people to be happy. That was a lot for him. I think he kind of took it personally if people were hurting or people were sad around him. So he would either try to joke or he would try to do something to get them happy again. And I see that in myself as well. I I have one of those personalities where, like, if I'm having a bad day, people can kind of feel it and they're like, maybe I should have a bad day. So I try really hard now to project happiness on other people, because even if they're having a really rough day, maybe just a little bit of my joy can rub off on them. So that's one of the big qualities for him. And then the other quality with him is, that's a tough one, because I didn't really think about qualities per se. I know I am not physically even near as strong as him. I don't think I could have made it through some of the physical pain he was in. Mentally, I never had to do the challenges of being in war. You know, you're a military member, you know, even just the rigors of the routines and having to listen to other people, where I've had more freedom and more finding myself in that creative vibe. But I do know that patience was something that he always had, in terms of, it's going to be okay, it's going to get better, even though he had reason to just be like, no, it's not going to get better, you know? And so I do like to do things either right away, or I like to procrastinate. But when it comes to other people, I like to give them patience, and I love to give them grace, and I love to let them know that, you know, things can get better, but we're here if you need us. So that's really the qualities I would say that I take on from him, because I know I can't do some of the physical stuff that he even could do after his surgeries and everything, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We all have our physical capacity and capabilities, right? So, you know, if he did 7 tours in Vietnam, obviously he was in good physical, he was fit physically, obviously. And, you know, had he not been, he would have became really in a hurry. That's the thing with the military boys, right?
Definitely.
What would you said something about procrastination, and I think that in some degrees we all have things that we procrastinate about. How are you dealing with that when you find yourself procrastinating for like one particular thing, or is there one particular subject or aspect of your life where you go, that's always a drag, and you always drag it?
As funny as this sounds, I think it's things that have a deadline. So if I give myself, hey, Jackie, you need to start doing this, or hey, we want to work on that, I'll start working on it. But if I'm like, Jackie, you have to have this done by this date, or you and I are co-authors, we had this deadline when we had to have the book done. I knew what, 2.5, 3 weeks before it. And it's like, I waited like a whole week before I even started anything. And it's like, oh, there was a deadline. What if I didn't make it? You know, so it's almost like that thing where when you hear there's a deadline, you're like, oh, I got all this time. Let's wait until the last minute and make it perfect.
Yeah, well, you did better than I. You wrote it a week ahead of time. I wrote it literally the day it was due.
You know, it was unexpected that I got it done as quick as I did, honestly. I kind of blocked out all Friday in case I needed.
Yeah, for me it was something different, but I hear what you're saying. Is like I had a college. I went back to school as an adult, and I had a college professor that would say at the beginning of the trimester, he would say, okay, so now if you think this semester, sorry, if you think that you're going to get an extension for every, you know, deadline that I give for assignment, you're absolutely right. So what you do is in your agenda, write that it's due 2 weeks ahead of time, and all of a sudden you've got 2 more weeks to accomplish the task, right? And I thought that was really, it works if you actually follow it, right? It works. It's like setting the alarm clock 5 minutes, setting the clock 5 minutes ahead so that you're not 5 minutes late everywhere.
Or when you know your friends are always going to be late and you really want them to pick you up at like 2:30, you tell them to be there by 2:15 because then they'll be on time.
Yeah, I don't do that. I seriously, and I don't want to.
I'm always early.
Yeah, I don't want to sidetrack this, but no, I don't do that. I explain to the people who have a tendency of always being late that I'm on time and I don't wait. And once they've shown up at the restaurant and I'm gone because they were 25 minutes late, they'll never do it again. And that's it. I mean, things do happen. I mean, they can get stuck in traffic, or there was an accident on the highway or whatever. It does happen. but I expect to be, get a little bit of an advance notice saying, hey, listen, I did leave on time, this is what's happening, give me grace. Then of course I will. But for I call that pathological tardiness. I don't, yeah, no, I don't put it, but I am a strong believer in the fact that we teach other people how to treat us. So that's just me telling them that that's not the kind of behavior that I roll with. And that's it. It's got nothing to do with the individual. It's the behavior. And there's a big difference between the two. So anyway.
That's
Yeah.
huge. And
Yeah.
I love hearing that, because that kind of comes back to that quality I was talking about, about giving people grace and stuff. And sometimes you can give them too much grace. And I did see that with my dad, giving too much grace. And then once he was gone, oh, nobody's doing it for you. Nobody's giving you that grace. So it's almost like you can set people up to fail when you do too much for them. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. This show, I've said that pretty much on every episode. The show is called People, Passion, and Purpose because ever since I started this LinkedIn journey, I've met great people, which was the first element. The second is I've met a lot of passionate people, and I am one. So I was curious about how people discovered their passion. And the third one, purpose, is because pretty much everyone I met on LinkedIn, and I mean, I have a following of about 8,000. I haven't spoken to all of them, but the common theme is that either people are helping other people find their purpose or people are actually looking for their purpose. So when it comes to passion, most, if not all, entrepreneurs took their passion, they found a way to make a living out of it. And here we are. So obviously, if I ask about passion, their business is going to come up, right? And that's okay. But other than your business or what you've made your business, what are you passionate about, and how did you discover it?
Ooh. So I have two passions that are equally Jackie, I guess you could say. And one is giving hope to other people, because there's a lot of unhappy people that I come in contact with, both through the business and then just through life in general. Sometimes the kind of energy I give off, I attract people that are having really rough times, and they either look at me as a safe person or somebody that they know they can kind of dump on. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. There are people that need to just dump on somebody. And so my joy, my passion is seeing people actually find hope again and find ways that life cannot suck, because it seems like that whole, like you said, you keep finding these great people that are passionate, like attracts like. And those that are committed and excited, and they believe in manifestation, they believe in taking care of themselves, they believe in a better world, tend to gravitate towards other people that are wanting to do great and take care of themselves and move themselves forward. And when we get people that are really kind of down in the dumps, whether it's because of past trauma, whether it's because of financial issues, because they, got in a relationship that brought them down, sometimes those people like being around other people that are also going through tough times, because then they feel kind of normal, or they feel like maybe they're just not as bad off. And they don't always look out for those people that are happy and roses and butterflies, because they feel a little too overwhelmed with that, or they feel like that's not their lifestyle. And I try to bridge that gap, both personally and professionally. You deserve more, and I've had to be very intentional. So LinkedIn is a pretty amazing platform. Some of those other social media platforms, there's a lot of drama and toxicity on that. And I have really had to put up that boundary and say, I'm either going to have to unfollow you or I'm going to block you. But it's only after I've tried to give some grace, tried to send some, hey, it looks like, you keep talking about the same stuff is really bothering you. Have you thought about this? Have you talked about this? Have you thought about a coach? Have you thought about a therapist? If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. I don't sit there and lecture. I'm saying you have to get a counselor. Oh my gosh, you're annoying or anything like that. But if I've tried to reach out, or you've asked for help and I've given some ideas and nothing's changed, and it's that same repetitive, I have had to remove myself, because my energy gets sucked down, and then I'm not good for anybody. So That's my big passion, is seeing people find hope. It doesn't mean a bunch of money is going to necessarily drop in their lap tomorrow or the perfect job is going to come calling, but they have hope to say, hell yeah, life is going to be okay. It's going to get better. And hey, maybe I can hang around those people and I can do this and these doors are going to open. But my other passion is solely selfish. I mean, it's kind of reached out to help with other people too, but my passion is to travel. It's like I work hard, Isabel, and my life growing up, because of my dad's health, we couldn't travel far. I remember one trip to Canada. It was to Niagara Falls because we had a family wedding there. Otherwise, as a family, I don't think we ever traveled more than like maybe a 1 hour radius. My dad just could not be in a car that long. And we had a little summer place with a bunch of family. So it wasn't like this ritzy place or anything, but it was this really nice place that was close to a beach that we could walk to. And we spent time with our family, like our extended family. And it was just amazing and beautiful. And I would not change that for the world. But that was my view of the world, was either my hometown or where we spent time with the family. And then when my kids were little, we traveled a little bit, mostly like to Florida. We did one road trip so they could see a couple other sites on the west side of the state. But we got what we call in Michigan a seasonal campsite, where you went to the same
every
spot.
year.
Yeah, and we had the exact same spot every year for like 8 years. Great time. I loved all the people that we met up there. We had so much fun, but it was very repetitive. And I know that the world is a bigger, better place when we are not surrounded by the exact same people over and over. We need diversity. We need cultural experiences, but we also need to see beautiful things. Now, Michigan has amazing rivers and lakes. Lake Michigan is just minutes from me. It is like an ocean. It's magnificent, but I don't have
it's beautiful.
I don't have the mountains. I don't have hot springs. I don't have, all these things that you can find in other places. So my passion now for about the past probably 5 years is to travel. And I love traveling with friends, and I wish I could travel with more family, but I love traveling solo too, Izzy. And it's so cool because what I didn't realize is I thought I'd be super nervous. And of course, there's times that you get nervous when you're traveling somewhere, but all of your senses are heightened. Like you can smell things differently. You see things, you hear things, you do things so differently than if you are just with somebody else and they're talking in your ear and they're like, hey, let's go here. And you miss out on so much. So my passion is to get to as many places I can get to. I have only one US state to get to, and I am going to it in August. I will be to all 50 states. I'm so happy.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm a huge solo traveler fanatic. And honestly, for me, it's about not having to compromise. I don't want to compromise. I want to go on my trip. I only have X number of weeks off in a year. I mean, when my financial situation changes and I can, afford to travel the world, and then, it's okay. But now 2 weeks off and out of 52. And once I get to destination, I'm going to have to go visit the Louvre, even though I've seen it. No, hell no. Yeah. No. I'll be over there. I'll be doing this because that's what I want to do.
Because you've never experienced it, because you wanted to, not because other people are forcing you to do it.
Exactly. But I understand. I mean, I understand why a lot of single women don't want to travel alone because they're afraid. And I totally get that. I totally get that. But I think that when you get to a hotel, if you actually speak to the concierge or the maitre d' and you say, hey, listen, I'm a solo traveler. I don't speak the language. I don't know. They're going to guide you. Okay, so don't go at all in that area. Okay, I listen. I don't argue with the locals. If they're telling me this is a bad spot, it's a bad spot. I tend not to go anywhere alone at night. And if I do go, then I'll Uber it on the way there and Uber and on the way back. Obviously, if I'm in the middle of London or, there are bad, sectors in London or in New York or even in Montreal or Toronto or Vancouver or whatever.
Anywhere.
But if you know which areas to avoid, you can even, take the metro or, but if not, just take a taxi. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but hey, you get to see what you want to see. Yeah. And more than likely the most expensive thing was the airfare to get there. So once you're there, don't start, you know, penny pinching and it's you're there. Geez, like enjoy.
Well, and the
So
cool thing is,
right.
I used to get just a little jealous. I'm
Oh,
not even going to lie. When I'd see all my friends going on vacation and I didn't get to go, and I'm like, oh, I don't even want to look at their pictures because I'm so wishing
yeah.
I could be there. And I'm in cold Michigan, you know, so it seems like everybody's traveling right now. And I'm like, but now I get so jazzed up watching them go on a vacation. I'm like, thank you for getting out of this town and getting to enjoy life. And now I get to experience it through your pictures because I may never go to the place you pick because maybe that's
Yeah.
not my style or I want to go somewhere else. So it's almost like you can relive and you can decide. And so I start to
Mhm.
get so excited just planning trips, whether I'm planning it for myself or if I'm giving some information to other people on where and how they might be able to enjoy it. And some of my trips, I'm just like, I don't need to spend any money because this community, this town, this country offers everything for free. All you got to do is
Yeah.
tip a little bit here and there, and you can see
Yeah.
amazing things. So it's like sometimes I love the idea of getting the most out of the community you're going to be in under. Yes, think about your budget, but think about what jazzes you. You know, if you're somebody
Yeah.
that wants to spend all the time in the museums, you better go to all the museums. Don't say, oh, I can't get the ticket or oh, I don't want to take a taxi there. Take the damn taxi because that's what you want to do. Now,
Yeah.
me, I'm going to find all the cool old cemeteries and all the historical architecture, and I'm going to look for all the water things that I can find. And so much of that is free that I'm like, this is like a double bonus. I get to see this, and I don't got to spend money waiting in line to buy a ticket. It's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, and you can buy so many things ahead of time too. I mean, we went in my family, there's a tradition where we hit the big numbers like 40, 50, 60, whatever. We do a family trip, and we call it our DNA trip. And it means if you don't share our DNA, you are not invited. So
Oh,
it's my dad and the three siblings. That's it. The wife, the husband, you're staying home, you're not invited. And it's not that we don't like them, it's that it's a DNA trip. And when my dad turned 80, my dad lived in Germany for 5 years in the early 60s, from 1961 to 1966. And he had never gone to England. And so when he turned 80, we brought him back to London. Actually, we brought him to London because he had never gone to London. And it was, oh my God, it was so fabulous to see. But the trip was about him. And our pleasure was about watching him turning 80 years old and discovering a place he had never gone and things he had never seen, and driving on the wrong side of the road. Well, wrong for us, but on the wrong side of the road, and just, you know, taking the boat on the Thames, and it was fabulous. It's such a great thing to do as a family too.
that's
Just,
so cool.
you know, you discover. And now with Airbnb, I mean, we rented a flat for the 10 days we were there. So we were all in the same house. We were cooking. We would eat breakfast there, eat dinner there, and then eat lunch on the road. And it was such a pleasure. And now this year he's turning 85, and we're
Oh,
bringing him to New York City because he's never been
oh, I
at
can just hear the passion in your voice,
85.
Isabel. It's so cool.
85 years old, and he's going to go to the Big Apple for the first time. I've been numerous of times, so has my brother, so has my sister, but this is not what that's about. It's about letting him and watching him discover it,
Yes.
right? Because
I love it.
it's not, your life is not over until you're dead.
You're right.
You
You're
can
right.
slow down, you can do it differently, you can,
Yep.
and we told him we leave we're going to rent the flat again, and we leave mid-morning. We do like an activity, we go have lunch, and then if he needs to come back home, because obviously he's going to be 85, so he doesn't have the energy to go from 8 a.m. to till 5 p.m. But still, it's just, yeah, it's I love that. I love hearing everything about traveling.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't wait to see the pictures of the last state you're going to visit.
I'm so
When
excited.
is August when?
I'm going Labor Day weekend, the Saturday, and the coolest thing, so I expected to go by myself. I actually have my cousin wants to go with me. She's never flown before, and she is half my age. So I'm going
Oh,
to my last date. I fly all the time. She has never flown, and she wants to hang out with me for a whole week. I
yes.
am so excited. So yeah, you're going to be seeing so many pictures, all kinds of videos. It's going to be all over the
Great.
place because it's like
That's
Jackie got to all 50 states.
so after that, where are you going to go after you're done all the 50 states?
Well, I of course I want to go more international.
Yeah.
But of course that also costs money. So I get that whole, we got to manifest some more money coming our way to get the trips in that we want, because there is a lot of world to still see. So
Yes.
I will, depending on what the budget looks like, there are definitely states that I want to go back to, spend more time in and things like that. I want to get up to Canada, hopefully this summer sometime, spend a little bit more time up there. Yeah. I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, how far of a drive is that? Because I do love road trips too. I've driven road trips by myself,
That's
and I'll
not
be
too,
doing.
it's not too far. Like Chicago is like a 9-hour drive or something like that.
Okay, so then, and I'm 3 hours north of Chicago, so then straight across. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be great. I love it. Yeah, so you'll be hearing all about my trips. And I actually have my very first trip of 2024 coming up in 3 weeks. I am
Woohoo.
so ecstatic because this is the longest I have went into a year without traveling. Usually I try to do something in January, so I'm just like chomping at the bit. I'm like, I need to get out of here.
Where are you going?
So I was supposed to be doing a women's retreat in St. Lucia with the amazing Lark Ambrose, and unfortunately we had to postpone that.
Oh,
So I still had my vacation week. I was able to get refunded my airplane ticket and my time that we put the money into the location that we were renting. So I decided, I've never been on a cruise. Why not do a solo cruise as my very first cruise? I'm going to go to
course.
6 islands in the Caribbean all by myself. I
Which
can't
ones?
wait. St. Thomas, St. Martin, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. I have been there, but I still am stopping there. The Bahamas, and then Tortola.
And Bahamas is Nassau?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to swim with the pigs.
Yeah. Yeah. The water is so absolutely phenomenal in Nassau. It's not even funny. It's clearer than my pool, for crying out loud. Yeah, no, it's, yeah. Hey, if we continue to, which I wouldn't mind, but if we continue talking
need
about
to-
traveling, we will never be done.
I know,
The
right?
show's gonna last
We need to do it
7.5
offline.
hours. Mike is gonna have to go. I'm gonna eventually have to pee because I'm drinking tea while we're talking. So yeah, we better get to our next question. So my final question is always the same, and it's about our life's purpose. Because like I was saying earlier, either people are looking for it or people are, regardless if it's true or not, they're helping or at least trying to help other people to find their purpose. And I find that it's a very important thing to have nowadays. So, my beautiful Jackie, have you found your life's purpose? And if so, how?
So if you would have asked me this question a few months ago, I would have without a doubt said my purpose was to make other people happy. The exact same thing as my passion.
Okay.
That's not my purpose anymore.
I like
my
it
purpose
when
is
people.
to take care of myself first,
Oh,
mentally
okay.
and physically and emotionally and spiritually in every other way, because I have been giving so much for so many decades to other people that I've realized that I've really harmed myself, especially with overeating food or not wanting to like be as involved in certain things. And those days are gone. I can only help other people if I help myself first. It may sound so selfish because I thought it was so selfish for years and
It
years.
isn't.
But it's not. So anybody
No.
I can help jump on this journey with me to start loving yourself first, it's a very cool thing. So I find my purpose is to kind of walk the walk, because, I usually post on social media all the good stuff because that's what people want to see. But I also like to show that life is not perfect for any
No.
of us, any of us.
No.
So the more you can show, yes, this is a hurdle, but guess what? I'm still smiling and getting through it because that's what life's about. The more we can realize that ourself deserves to have fun and find joy even through the icky stuff. So that's my new purpose. And like I said, this really started a few months ago.
Beautiful.
it's something I wish I would have done so many years ago, and I wish
Doesn't
so many
matter.
younger people could do it, you know?
Never too late.
Yeah.
So what triggered that change?
Some relationship issues and honestly, my trip to Puerto Rico was
Okay.
to celebrate my 50th birthday and the 50th birthday of one of my best friends that we've been friends since high school. There was something magical on that island. We knew we were going to have a great time. We knew we were going to be swimming and be in the sunshine. We knew we'd laugh all the time because we just can't stop laughing when we're together. But there was something so magical about how people treated us so wonderfully there, how every beach we went to was so different than the other beach. Like Lake Michigan is gorgeous and beautiful. I can see it literally every day if I want to, but it looks the same if I'm in my town or if I drive 30 minutes north or 2 hours north. It's the same view because you can't see across anything. It's just gorgeous. But in Puerto Rico, it was so different. And it just reminded me, this life is amazing and spectacular. This world is so much more than what we expect it to be. You have to want to see it. You want to be able to enjoy it and to feel the vibe. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I needed. And it was a really important wake-up call for me.
That's beautiful. It's never, you said earlier, I wish I would have discovered that before. It's never too late. Life is now. And if it's at 50, then it's better at 50 than nothing. It's better than at 50 than at 80. And it's just better. It's never too late to start loving yourself, start taking care of yourself, setting healthy boundaries for yourself, saying no when it's no. Because sometimes the answer has to be no. And choosing ourselves is not a selfish act. Choosing ourselves is the ultimate self-care act. That's what it is. And if you take care of you take care of your community better.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that we're so on par with that. I had a feeling we would be, but it's so cool.
Yeah. When it comes to boundaries, dude,
It has nothing to do with that military upbringing now, right?
No. Actually, I was actually really, really, really bad at saying no. I was really bad at setting boundaries for myself. And that's why I learned. And that's why now there is no compromising. When it comes to my boundaries, there are no compromises. I can't. I've done that. I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm done with that. And it is about taking care of myself and loving myself and showing up for myself. And when I do that, I have so much proof that when you do that, you do show up better for others.
I love that.
So there are no notifications on my phone. I don't get a ding every time I get an email or a text message, and that's why sometimes I'll literally reply 17 hours because I just didn't open the app.
Good for you.
And it's not only about that, but it's no. And it is the way that I show up for the world.
That's amazing.
It's a lesson that it is unfortunately expensive to learn. But hey, here we are. In our 50s. I did it a little bit earlier. I think I was in my mid 40s when I learned that. But it cost a lot in energy and money and everything. Yeah.
But look where it's gotten you.
Yeah. Got me stuck with Mike. No.
I know. I know. How did that
even happen, right? Mike in the background is saying that we are aging like fine wine.
He just likes hanging out with us old ladies, right? Giving us all this support.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah,
I'll
take it.
Absolutely.
I'm his sister from another mister. I always end the show the same way. It is not an obligation. I give the opportunity to my guests to ask me anything they want. Before we do that, that's I'm a tease. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us other than what has been strolling down? So your website, Tripping with Jackie, and your LinkedIn, that's there. You guys should go and connect with Jackie. And anything else that
Yeah.
you would like to discuss or shamelessly plug?
I'm not going to shamelessly plug anything, but I
You
am going
should.
to say connect, connect, connect. Come, if you're going to connect with me, don't just follow me. Please let me know who you are. Come to my audio events, join cool events like this, be part of it, be active. It makes a difference to just, not just you, but the people that are hosting the events, the people that want to get to know you and maybe use your services, but really know you as a human. Follow the Hounds of Business. I mean, they are just growing all of us, and making us want to realize that we can lift each other up. We don't just have to grind by ourselves, because it's hard to grind all the time, especially when you have a day job and you're doing your side hustles. It's tough stuff. So that's going to be, I guess, kind of a little shameless plug for the Hounds of Business community. But, we do that because we got Mike like looking over our shoulder right now, right?
Because we do that. That's
because we care, because it's worth it, or we would have bailed by now,
Exactly. And when is your audio room?
So I do one the first Monday of the month, which is all about traveling. I do one the third Tuesday of the month with Damien, and we talk about finding your purpose. I do one the fourth Sunday of the month, which is all about re-entry. And the last Wednesday of the month is called Wishful Wednesday. And that is a plug yourself type of a room, shout yourself out, talk about your business, your book.
And it's this Wednesday. No,
it'll be next week Wednesday.
Yeah.
Next week Wednesday, but Tuesday this week will be the Finding Your Purpose. So yeah, it's good stuff. I try to spread out some of the stuff that I'm really passionate about and do it in different rooms, but you'll see me in audio rooms of everybody's and live events like this as much as I can support other people too.
We've crossed paths on a few lives already.
Yes,
especially mine, which I appreciate.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for showing up. There's so many lives and so many things to do, and I host a few too. So it's like,
it's hard,
yeah.
And
so
you have a real life
when
on
you
top of
can.
it.
Yeah, you show when you can, and and if you can't, that's okay. Nobody's ever under any obligations to come to my life, although I do appreciate it, obviously. So back to the original setup. Do you have any questions for me?
I have two for you. Okay.
Oh, you're allowed one. Choose one. No,
I got to do two because you kind of added to this, because I was going to ask you what you do the best for self-care. And I know you talked about boundaries, but what else do you do to make Isabel happy?
Dance. Oh. Yeah, I dance. Dance for me is connecting to the 5-year-old little girl I was the day before my mother died. That's what dancing does to me. It is pure, unapologetic joy. I've been dancing since 1998, and I have 3 partners, because I dance ballroom, but I also dance salsa. And I have 3 partners I have been dancing with since January of 1998.
That's amazing.
And it's all about the fun. If the partner takes, his dance or whatever just a little bit too serious, he doesn't get to dance with me a second time. It doesn't make him a bad person or a bad dancer or anything like that. It just make us not align when it comes to dancing. I will, lift their collar while I'm, dancing around. I'll slowly but very gently tap the back of their head. I'll go like that while I'm turning. It is about joy. This is me being a 5-year-old dressed as a 50-year-old.
I love that.
I do it as often as I possibly can. Now, excuse me. Now with my big boy, my polka dot terror passed a couple of weeks ago, and although it's a sad moment in my life, it has freed up time, because let's not pretend that being a dog mama is not time consuming, especially to an extremely old dog. So now what I've done with all this freed up time is going dancing more often. Yeah,
I love that so much.
Very important.
I did not know that about you. So if I would not have asked, I wouldn't have known. That's what building connections are. It's so interesting, because when you started to say you had dance partners, I instantly said, she's a salsa dancer before you even said it. I don't know why, but it just like resonated. I'm like, that girl knows how to move.
It's the music. You
Oh,
heard the music.
I love it. Last question for you, my dear. Today has been
Yeah.
so great getting to know you and letting me
Thank
share
you.
a little bit about me. But because we talk so much about travel and because we are both solo travelers, where is someplace that you still haven't got to that you are excited to go to at some point in time?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, hmm. Okay, the true answer is not going to happen, but you'll understand why.
Okay.
It has always been a dream of mine to go to Moscow and St. Petersburg. And I will not go into Russia now for obvious reasons that is pointless to mention. So another one would be the Greek island.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
I've
Yeah.
done a lot of Europe. I've done 11 countries in Europe. And I've gone to a few of them a couple of times. I've been very lucky, and I have also made my luck in the sense that very often I would never go to the movies, never go to eat at a restaurant, never do anything, like when I was broke as a joke, but I would set that money aside and say, well,
To
no, I'm
travel.
not going to the restaurant because it's going to cost me $50, and I'll take that $50 and I'll put it towards airfare. So, but I haven't gone to the Greek islands yet. And the second, I have a third one, and this one is just delayed. I was for my 50th birthday, I was supposed to go to Cape Town, South
Yeah.
Africa, and everything was booked. And I turned 50 during COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You need to reschedule.
So I ended up, I've said this a few times already, but I ended up renting a cottage an hour away from my house, which, it was okay. I went with a friend and my dog, and it was lovely weather, and it's a very, very lovely place. But it's not exactly Cape Town, South Africa.
Yeah.
So that's, like we say in French, ce n'est que partie remise. It means that to me is not even a dream, because that's already accomplished kind
It's
of thing.
gonna
Like in my
happen.
energy, it's already accomplished.
I
All
love
that
that.
I need to do now is just actually get on the plane and go. So, and which is great about LinkedIn and the Hounds is now that I have met people who live there. So I can actually, get to the airport and somebody can come and greet me, or at least, tell me, hey, stay away from this hotel because they pretend
Yes.
that they're really great, but they're not. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Oh, I
Greece
love
and
that.
South
I love
Africa.
that so much.
Yeah. I'm going to return the question. Best place, if money was no object, where would you go?
If it was no object, I would I would probably do at least a month to 2 months somewhere in Europe, hopefully on
Where?
maybe a river cruise where I could see a lot of the
Okay.
old castles and a lot of the old churches and
Oh,
the old cemeteries.
yes.
Get the most bang for my buck, see as much as I can. I mean, I really want to go to Portugal and Greece as well. That would be more like a tropical, relaxing,
Yeah.
wonderful vacation. But if I really had no time limit, no budget, it would be to go to see some of the oldest architecture and old
Yeah.
cemeteries and those castles, and just be able to just really feel like you're in an entire different century. I mean, that's what I really want to see.
There are a lot of beautiful river cruises in Europe. I've done one on the Blue Danube,
Mm.
from Vienna to Budapest,
Ooh.
Hungary. And it was actually for a little bit more north of Vienna, small, very, very small town called Melk. And it was, oh my God,
Was it?
everywhere you look. I mean, in Salzburg, Austria, the cathedral of Salzburg was built in 714, not 1714, in 714. And being the empath and the witch that I am, when I walk in, I am overwhelmed with all of these people that came and pray and that came and celebrated their kid's birth, or their whatever, the life, their marriage, their union, it is so beautiful. It's not even funny how beautiful it is. It's
You just totally confirmed it for me then. And I actually have my mom's side of the family has history both in Hungary and Austria. So to hear you use both of those words right now when I'm talking about that, it's like, there's some connection here, girl. There is some real good connection. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. That was a great conversation. It was a great conversation. Thank you very, very much for coming. And guys, next week, it is none other than the absolutely fabulous Christine Bell.
Love
so
her.
Join us next Thursday, February 29th at 10 Eastern, 10 a.m. Until then, be good to yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.